500 years after the journey to the west concluded, Zhubeiji died on Vulture Peak. For 5 centuries, he had scoured the 3 realms in search of his monkey brother, but found no trace. In his final battle, he stormed Vulture Peak alone. He defeated 500 Arhats and 3,000 Buddhas. Yet even as his strength bled dry, he could not withstand the Buddha's single palm strike. With his last breath, his roar shook heaven, earth, and the underworld. I recognize only the great sage equal to heaven, not some victorious fighting Buddha from the Western paradise. Truth was, back on the pilgrimage road, everyone believed the 6-eared macaque, the imposter, had been slain by the Buddha. But on the night, Sun Wukong rejoined the group. Tang Sanzang silently recited the tightening crown spell, and the Monkey King standing before him showed no reaction whatsoever. Tang Sanzang fell silent for a long while. Then, unguarded, a single tear slid down his cheek. That moment, Zhubei, feigning sleep, saw it all. From that night onward, he never again called him Elder Brother Monkey, and Tang Sanzang never recited the spell again. Zhubei knew. The real Monkey King was gone. In the scene that followed, a white-robed immortal sat across from the black and white impermanents. 2 spectral envoys of the underworld. The 3 exchanged pleasantries, reminiscing like old friends. Sun Wukong, disguised as a stray monkey hair, grew increasingly impatient. At last, formalities ended. The white-robed immortal rose to depart. As he took his leave, he handed the 2 envoys a scroll. Brother Zian Fan, I regret I cannot linger long in the netherworld. I bid you farewell. He bowed deeply, then drifted away like mist on wind. Once he'd vanished, the black impermanence glanced at the scroll and sighed. Brother, Li Taibai's given us trouble. His younger sister broke celestial law, and tomorrow she'll be banished to the mortal realm to undergo tribulation. He's asked us to mark her, so we may later guide her back onto the immortal path. The white impermanence accepted the scroll, gazed upon the portrait of the woman within, and exhaled heavily. Li Taibai is a disciple of the human teaching sect. In our mortal days, we were close friends. Now he comes in person to ask this favor. We cannot refuse. Strange. Sun Wukong, still hidden as a hair, frowned inwardly, just marking a fallen fairy. Why do these 2 look so uneasy? In his memory, the underworld always obeyed immortals without question. Li Taibai himself was a true immortal. Surely such a request should have been granted instantly, not just by these 2, but even by Yama himself. Yet something here felt off. As the black and white impermanence turned to leave, Sun Wukong abandoned caution. He materialized behind the black impermanence and drove a fist hard into his nape. Sun Wukong grinned. You 2 little ghosts, I ask you, did you escort the soul of an old monkey today? Where is it? A monkey? Well, honorable immortal, forgive me, but countless monkeys die each day. Might you tell us his surname, his native place? Sun Wukong scratched his head. His name is Gui Lianer, of the Hu clan, Flower Fruit Mountain. Flower Fruit Mountain? The white impermanence froze. His gaze flickered to Sun Wukong, suddenly sharp, wary, unnerved. Speak up! Where did you take his soul? Sun Wukong barked, voice thick with fury. The white impermanence hesitated. Honorable immortal, I beg your pardon, but if it were any other monkey's soul, I'd hand it over without hesitation. But Flower Fruit Mountain monkeys, their souls must be sent to Yin Mountain. So, Yin Mountain? Why? What crime did they commit to suffer eternal damnation? Sun Wukong's voice dropped, cold as frozen jade. He knew Yin Mountain well. It housed only the eternally damned, souls beyond redemption. He couldn't fathom what sin Flower Fruit Mountain's monkeys could possibly bear to warrant such punishment. Feeling the lethal chill radiating from Sun Wukong, the white impermanence stammered, Honorable immortal, this matter involves a deep guarded secret. I dare not speak of it. Won't speak? Then I'll shatter your soul into dust. Golden light flared in Sun Wukong's eyes. A crackling orb of thunder coalesced in his palm, the most devastating weapon against spirits and gods alike. The white impermanence panicked. Wait, though I cannot speak. If you go to one place, you'll learn the truth. Oh, and where might that be? Sun Wukong had no intention of killing him. Not yet. A true immortal's death would trigger a full underworld investigation and risk exposing him to the Buddhist sect. He'd sworn to Patriarch Sapudi. For 50 years, he would avoid provoking them. The secret is known to many, the white impermanence blurted, but only one dares speak it aloud. Judge Qiyu. Qiyu? Where is he now? Sun Wukong's eyes narrowed. He serves Yama directly. His residence, the judge's mansion, lies beside the Hall of Yama. If you seek him, I'll gladly guide you. Sun Wukong nodded. I know the way to Yama's hall. No need for your escort. For now, you'll just have to rest. Before the words fully left his mouth, he slammed a fist into the white impermanence's chest. As the spirit collapsed, Sun Wukong swiftly traced a binding talisman in midair and pressed it onto his forehead. Heh. He smirked, turning to leave, then paused, glancing sideways. Almost forgot you. He scooped up the scroll Li Taibai had entrusted to the envoys. Unrolling it slightly, he saw a portrait of a white-robed female immortal, her brows sharp, her bearing fierce and proud. Ding! He tossed the scroll aside, then cast another binding talisman, this one freezing the black impermanence, who'd been pretending unconsciousness. At my cultivation level, this binding lasts 2 hours, more than enough time. Muttering to himself, Sun Wukong transformed, his form swelling into the hulking, fearsome visage of the black impermanence. He plucked a hair, conjured a wailing staff, then, thinking better of it, fashioned an iron chain as well. With slow, deliberate steps, he strode toward the hall's exit. Hail, Lord of the Netherworld! The ghostly underlings along the way bowed low, trembling, their eyes wide with terror. Hail, Lord! A one-horned demon guard stationed at the gate rushed forward the moment he spotted Sun Wukong. Lord, where are you bound? Sun Wukong's expression darkened. Report my movements to you? The demon recoiled, dropping to his knees instantly. Forgive my insolence, Lord. Spare me! Sun Wukong kicked him hard, sending him sprawling, and didn't spare him another glance as he marched past. Other minor spirits watched, too terrified to breathe. They dropped to the floor, shaking violently, eyes squeezed shut. Only after Sun Wukong disappeared did they dare exhale. The one-horned demon lay drenched in sweat. Impossible for a ghost, yet there it was, dripping from his brow. Pure, unadulterated fear. Indeed, the black and white impermanence officers embodied opposing temperaments, one ever grinning, the other perpetually scowling. The black officer, quick to wrath, would devour ghosts whole the moment his fury flared. Countless minor spirits in the underworld had met eternal damnation for trifling offenses that provoked his ire. That solitary horned demon had merely been kicked, yet for him it was already a miraculous escape from certain annihilation. The Hall of Yama, it's here. Sun Wukong, disguised as the black impermanence officer, arrived at the judge's mansion beside the Hall of Yama. 2 gatekeeper ghouls stationed at the entrance recognized the black officer instantly and scrambled forward to greet him. Sun Wukong demanded, is Judge Qiyu currently in residence? The ghoul bowed low and replied, Your Honor, His Excellency the Judge is indeed within. The ghoul hurried off to announce him, but Sun Wukong had no patience to wait. He strode straight inside. Everyone in the underworld knew the black officer's fearsome reputation, volatile, unpredictable, prone to sudden violence. No one dared bar his way. He entered the mansion and marched into the main hall. There sat a middle-aged man in crimson robes, a magnificent beard framing his face, deeply engrossed in a small ledger. Upon lifting his gaze and seeing Sun Wukong still wearing the guise of the black officer, the man's eyes narrowed sharply. His voice dropped low and stern. Where does this demon hail from? To dare impersonate an officer of the Netherworld? Sun Wukong recoiled inwardly, startled. His gaze flickered over the man. His aura matched that of the black and white officers. True immortal cultivation, nothing more. Yet somehow, he'd pierced the Monkey King's transformation technique at a glance. Remarkable. This was Judge Qiyu, born with the divine eye, capable of discerning loyalty from treachery. After ascending to his post, he'd refined this innate gift through underworld cultivation, honing it to its absolute peak. Hence, he saw through Sun Wukong's disguise without effort. Realizing he'd been unmasked, Sun Wukong abandoned pretense. With a shake of his body, he reverted to his true form, a silver-furred monkey. Though Qiyu's divine eye could pierce illusion, it couldn't penetrate the deeper veil woven by Patriarch Subhuti himself. Thus, though he saw a monkey before him, he failed to recognize the legendary great sage equal to heaven. Qiyu glared. What monkey are you, and what business brings you here, masquerading as a divine official of the Netherworld? Sun Wukong snorted. This old monkey hails from the Water Curtain Cave on Flower Fruit Mountain. I've come to demand answers from you, Judge. Why are my mountain kin sent to the Yin Mountains after death? What crimes have they committed? Kuiyu's expression tightened almost imperceptibly. Flower Fruit Mountain? This matter lies beyond the jurisdiction of the underworld, monkey. I see merit clinging to your being. Kuiyu glared. What monkey are you, and what business brings you here, masquerading as a divine official of the netherworld? Sun Wukong snorted. This old monkey hails from the Water Curtain Cave on Flower Fruit Mountain. I've come to demand answers from you, Judge. Why are my mountainkin sent to the Yin Mountains after death? What crimes have they committed? Kuiyu's expression tightened almost imperceptibly. Flower Fruit Mountain. This matter lies beyond the jurisdiction of the underworld. Monkey, I see merit clinging to your being. Today, I'll overlook your offense of impersonating a nether deity. Be gone. Sun Wukong laughed coldly. You won't punish me? Then I shall hold you accountable. Why must my Flower Fruit Mountain brethren suffer eternal non-rebirth? If you don't give me a proper explanation, this very day, I'll overturn your entire underworld bureaucracy and raze your netherworld to dust. Kuiyu did not rage. Instead, he smiled. A quiet, chilling smile. Bold words, little monkey. In all three realms, no being has ever dared utter such a threat against the underworld. Out of respect for your accumulated merit, I'll spare your cultivation, for now. But persist in folly, and this judge will show you no mercy. Sun Wukong barked a laugh, pointing contemptuously. A mere true immortal ghost official dares speak so freely before me? How absurd. Today you'll learn exactly what this old monkey is made of. He lunged. Kuiyu stood unmoved, then produced a book wreathed in thick, coiling yin energy. Sun Wukong shot forward, fist raised high, only for Kuiyu to flip open the tome. The Book of Life and Death. What force is this? A crushing wave slammed into Sun Wukong. Despite his power, he couldn't resist, even a fraction. He was hurled backward like a rag doll, crashing hard against a pillar. What artifact is that? He gasped, scrambling upright, bewildered, staring at the book in Kuiyu's hands. Kuiyu smiled faintly. This is the underworld's sacred treasure, the Book of Life and Death. Its defenses are peerless. It traces the karmic threads of all living things, and governs the cycle of rebirth itself. Monkey, do you still dare speak of overturning the underworld? The Book of Life and Death? Impossible. How could it possess such power? Sun Wukong staggered, dazed. 1,000 years ago, he'd stormed the underworld and seen the book himself. Back then, it had been nothing more than a ledger recording lifespans and merits. Nothing like this. Kuiyu chuckled. Let me enlighten you, monkey. The three realms possess three supreme scriptures. The Heavenly Scroll, known as the List of Deified Gods, which ordains divine rank. The Earthly Scroll, also called the Primordial Veil of the Earth, owned by Jin Yuanzi, the ancestor of Earth Immortals, which commands the geomantic veins of the three realms and boasts unrivaled defense. And the Human Scroll, the Book of Life and Death. It records the merits and lifespans of every sentient being. Any soul inscribed within its pages falls under its dominion. Sun Wukong shook his head. I don't believe it. A mere book. How could it possibly restrain me? He attacked again, twin fists blazing with celestial energy, hurtling toward Kuiyu. Kuiyu sighed, shaking his head. Obstinate to the end. Then, a brush appeared in his hand. The judge's brush, the counterpart to the Human Scroll. Maxile dat really. He traced the character in midair. It flew straight toward Sun Wukong and struck his forehead dead center. Sun Wukong felt his strength drain away like water through fingers. His limbs locked. He collapsed, rigid, onto the floor. Kuiyu sheathed both the book and the brush. At that moment, the commotion drew the attention of the gatekeeper ghouls outside. They burst into the hall, saw the immobilized Monkey King, and fell to their knees, trembling, begging for mercy. Kuiyu waved a hand. This monkey intruded upon the judge's mansion unlawfully. Take him to the underworld prison. Hold him for formal judgment. Yes, Your Excellency. The ghouls rushed forward, hoisted Sun Wukong up, and began dragging him away. At the bridge of helplessness, Meng Po shook her head. Her fingertip tapped once upon the rim of her cauldron. A single droplet leapt from the brew, and with a gentle puff of breath, she sent it soaring into the distance. Damn it! What's happening? Why can't I move? Sun Wukong's spirit was sealed within his flesh, and his flesh, in turn, bound by the book's power. Panic surged. He hadn't expected the underworld he'd once toppled with ease to have grown so formidable. A mere true immortal judge had subdued him outright. Was he weaker, or had the underworld grown stronger? As the ghouls hauled him toward the prison, none noticed the droplet streaking across the distance. straight toward Sun Wukong's brow. It struck. A cool ripple spread across his forehead. The seal dissolved. His eyes snapped open. This old monkey's off. Power flooded back. He shrugged off his restraints effortlessly, then delivered 3 swift punches and 2 sharp kicks, sending the ghoul sprawling. In the next blink, he vanished. Freed by Meng Po's intervention, Sun Wukong now sped toward the Hall of Yama to confront King Yama himself. Inside the hall, King Yama sat reviewing scrolls, when suddenly his expression sharpened. He bowed respectfully toward empty space and murmured, "Yama understands." Sun Wukong, cloaked in invisibility, slipped into the hall, only for a beam of light to lance from the yin-yang mirror mounted on the wall, striking him full on. He recoiled in shock. Under the mirror's radiance, his concealment shattered, and his true form blazed into view. "Ha ha ha! What brings the celestial immortal to our humble abode?" King Yama flicked his sleeve. The mirror's glow dimmed and vanished. "Strange. These odd artifacts weren't here 1,000 years ago. Why does this place feel so much stronger than before?" Sun Wukong's eyes darted left and right, sensing layers of hidden power woven deep into the very air. "Celestial immortal?" Seeing Sun Wukong remain silent, King Yama prompted again. "Ah? Yama King, this old Monkey King has a question for you. Why have you cast the monkeys of Flower Fruit Mountain into Yinshan?" Sun Wukong snapped back to awareness. Seeing that the Yama King appeared approachable, he immediately voiced the very purpose of his visit. The King of Hell seemed to have anticipated his inquiry all along. With a heavy sigh, he replied, "Your Immortal Highness, you are unaware. The matter of the Flower Fruit Mountain monkeys is not our underworld's doing. It was his command." "Yinshan? You mean Dazong?" A spark flickered in Sun Wukong's mind as he spoke aloud. The Yama King nodded. "These monkeys differ from others. They once consumed immortal elixirs and celestial fruits, and thus cultivated nascent souls of Sunlid, Yuanying Stast. If left to undergo ordinary reincarnation, every one of them would inevitably walk the path to immortality in their next lives. Hence, Bodhisattva Dazong cast them into Yinshan, condemning them to eternal suffering, forever barred from liberation." "Dazong!" Sun Wukong ground his teeth, fury blazing in his eyes. He turned on his heel, ready to march straight to Yinshan and demand answers. "No, retribution! Your Immortal Highness," the Yama King hurriedly interjected. "Bodhisattva Dazong is a supreme being of the Buddha's realm." "Dazong!" Sun Wukong ground his teeth, fury blazing in his eyes. He turned on his heel, ready to march straight to Yinshan and demand answers. "No, retribution." "Your Immortal Highness," the Yama King hurriedly interjected. "Bodhisattva Dazong is a supreme being of the Buddha's realm. Though holding only the rank of Bodhisattva, his power rivals that of a Buddha himself. When he speaks, the underworld dares not disobey. Thus even I, this humble deity, am utterly powerless in this matter." "What? Dazong is that formidable?" Sun Wukong blinked, stunned. In his memory, Dazong had always been a gentle, benevolent old monk, his divine beast, the Tying Hound, notoriously timid. During the battle with the six-eared macaque, Sun Wukong himself had sought out Tying to discern truth from falsehood, and though the hound had instantly perceived the impostor, it dared not speak. From that, Sun Wukong had concluded Dazong's strength must be modest at best. Yet now, the Yama King's words left him deeply unsettled. The Yama King nodded solemnly, reverence clear in his tone. "Bodhisattva Dazong is a quasi-sage, a peerless cultivator who single-handedly suppresses Yinshan's chaos. His merit is immeasurable." After the Lingshan incident, Sun Wukong had grown far more cautious. Hearing such profound respect from the Yama King, he realized he'd underestimated Dazong all along. Yet the image of his fallen kin, tormented endlessly in Yinshan, churned like fire in his chest. Stroking his beard, the Yama King smiled faintly. "Your Immortal Highness, with Bodhisattva Dazong guarding Yinshan, the mountain stands impregnable. No outsider may enter, and no wretched ghost may escape. Dazang." That remark struck Sun Wukong like lightning. If Dazong is the sole barrier, then lure him out, and Yinshan will lie open. This requires careful planning. He knew Dazang's great vow. "Until hell is emptied, I shall not attain Buddhahood." For 10,000 years, the Bodhisattva had sat unmoving upon Yinshan, devoting himself entirely to redeeming damned spirits. To draw him away, even for an instant, seemed near impossible. "Yama King, many thanks. This old Monkey King knows what to do." Sun Wukong calculated swiftly. Nearly 2 hours had passed since he entered the underworld. Time to return to the mortal realm. Whoosh! He vanished. The Yama King's smile vanished instantly, replaced by an aura of cold, unassailable authority. Unbelievable. Tathagata's scheme was flawless, yet he provoked Subhuti. It seems the Buddha's gate faces grave peril this time. A strange, knowing curve tugged at the Yama King's lips. Gone was the deferential subordinate who'd stood before Sun Wukong moments earlier. Before Nai Bridge, Mingpo still stirred her cauldron of forgetfulness, soup, as if each swirl held the secret of some primordial Tao. Taoist friend Mingpo. A serene, compassionate old monk approached step by step, each footfall blooming a golden lotus. Mingpo smiled faintly. Ah, Dizang. What brings you to my humble post? Indeed, it was Bodhisattva Dizang, freshly returned from quelling yet another uprising in Yinshan. With palms pressed together, he intoned, Namo Amituofo. Taoist friend Mingpo. My tying sensed an intruder slipping into the underworld just now. Before it could investigate further, it was wounded by you. I humbly request an explanation. Explanation? Dizang, this is Wang Chuan. Do I owe explanations to anyone? Mingpo's lips curled in quiet mockery. Utterly unimpressed, utterly unafraid. Dizang visibly stiffened. His aura trembled, not from anger, but from deep-seated wariness. Stirring the broth slowly, Mingpo said, Dizang, you expended great effort forging that avatar. Withdraw it, now. Taoist friend, take care. After a long, tense pause, Dizang chose retreat. To outsiders, Mingpo was merely the ghostly matron serving oblivion at Nai Bridge, but Dizang knew better. His aura trembled, not from anger, but from deep-seated wariness. Stirring the broth slowly, Mingpo said, Dizang, you expended great effort forging that avatar. Withdraw it, now. Taoist friend, take care. She was rumored to be an incarnation of an ancient, unfathomable sovereign, a being whose wrath could shatter the Buddha's entire foothold in the underworld. Mingpo didn't reply. Dizang sighed and dissolved into mist. Sun Wukong, of course, knew nothing of this. He returned to the water curtain cave in grim silence. Dawn had broken. Some young monkeys had already discovered Gillionaire's body, and panic rippled through the troop. The patriarch is dead. The patriarch, more and more awoke, nudging the lifeless form. The entire colony grew restless, agitated. Gillionaire had long been the pillar of the water curtain cave. His death left them reeling, directionless. Sun Wukong drew a slow, deep breath. Bury Gillionaire well. From now on, this old Monkey King will guard you all, and this Flower Fruit Mountain remains, as ever, the domain of the Monkey Clan. Then he lifted his gaze across the mountain, unleashed his divine sense, and roared. I am the king of the Water Curtain Cave, Flower Fruit Mountain. All demon lords, appear before me without delay. Hesitate and face the consequences. The consequences. A resonant echo rolled across the peaks. An ethereal Taoist frowned. Yu-Tu Daoren, his robes fluttering like wind-tossed clouds. At Sun Wukong's voice, his expression hardened. Such overwhelming cultivation. Could it truly be the great sage equal to heaven, returned? Yu-Tu Daoren was no mere human cultivator. Born of a fly, he'd attained enlightenment under a master's guidance, and remained in Flower Fruit Mountain, tasked with monitoring the monkey tribe. Recalling his master's orders, he resolved to investigate the Water Curtain Cave at once. At the same moment, Lady Hua Rui sped toward the cave, flanked by her retinue of flower spirits. Sun Wukong stood before the cave entrance, gaze distant, mind churning over how to breach Yinshan and free his kin. He recalled Subhuti Patriarch's teachings on the quasi-sage realm, the pinnacle of the three realms, reclusive, unseen, unmatched. 1,000 years ago, Sun Wukong had never encountered one. Even the Buddha, he'd once assumed only slightly stronger than himself, had, per Subhuti's revelation, also been a quasi-sage. Only then did he grasp why he'd been utterly powerless beneath the Buddha's palm. Now, reborn with a body forged from chaos stone, its boundless energy surging through his veins, Sun Wukong's cultivation remained at the peak of the Taiyi Golden Immortal Realm, just as it had been a millennium ago. Were it not for his incomplete true spirit, he'd long since have ascended to the Daluo Golden Immortal level, the highest publicly acknowledged tier of combat might in the three realms. As for the other two demon lords of Flower Fruit Mountain, he dismissed them lightly. If they submitted willingly, perhaps he'd spare them. If not, he'd eradicate them without hesitation for the safety of his clan. Then, sweet, heady fragrance filled the air. From the sky, several graceful maidens floated downward, bearing a wicker palanquin woven from living vines. Upon it reclined a woman, languid and elegant, idly twirling a fan. Pretentious show-off! Sun Wukong's lips curled upward in a faint, disdainful smile. He raised a hand and pointed at the woman seated on the wicker chair. A mere flower spirit, dare you not kneel and surrender at once before the great sage himself? Lady Warui narrowed her eyes slightly. Sun Wukong's cultivation level was unfathomable to her. As a flower spirit, she was naturally cautious, and upon sensing that his power likely surpassed her own, she wisely chose cunning over confrontation. With a gentle, knowing smile, she guided her wicker chair down from the air and landed gracefully before him. Warui pays her respects to your majesty. She bowed deeply, a vision of exquisite beauty. Any mortal man would have melted with pity at the sight. Alas, standing before her was no man, but a monkey utterly indifferent to charm or grace. Sun Wukong studied her for a moment, then said, "A celestial immortal, level spirit, so you do possess some cultivation. I'll grant you one chance. Become a guardian of the Waterfall Cave. What say you?" "A guardian of the Waterfall Cave?" Lady Warui blinked, momentarily taken aback. "The Waterfall Cave of Flower Fruit Mountain. Yes, 1,000 years ago, it had been sacred ground among demons and spirits. But now, it was little more than legend. The elder generation of demon kings feared Sun Wukong's name too much to dare lay claim to it. The younger ones dismissed it as insignificant, a mere cave, unworthy of their ambition. Still, Lady Warui was well-traveled and well-informed. She knew enough of its history to avoid provoking the place unnecessarily. Sun Wukong nodded, his tone haughty. "Truth be told, the Waterfall Cave is desperate for capable hands these days. Otherwise, someone of your celestial immortal rank wouldn't even qualify. 1,000 years ago, only true immortals were deemed worthy to serve as guardians here." A strained smile flickered across Lady Warui's face. "Your Majesty, Warui would be honored to be your friend, to live as neighbors, supporting one another in mutual goodwill." As for becoming a guardian, she was a demon sovereign, free, unbound, answerable to no one. Why trade sovereignty for servitude? Only fear of Sun Wukong's overwhelming strength kept her from lashing out outright. Sun Wukong scoffed. "Neighbors? The Waterfall Cave needs no neighbors. Refuse my offer, and I'll send you straight to the afterlife." His eyes flashed. A crushing wave of pressure erupted from him like a silent thunderclap. Lady Warui spat blood, her face twisting in terror. A celestial immortal, powerless before him. "Mercy, your majesty." Warui surrenders. She pledges fealty to the Waterfall Cave. She dropped to her knees instantly. Better to bend than break, especially when survival hinged on recognizing true supremacy. Among demons, strength commanded reverence, and Sun Wukong had just claimed hers. "Good," he said, nodding in satisfaction. "From this day forth, you are a guardian of the Flower Fruit Mountain Waterfall Cave. Betray me, even once, and I'll reduce every last flower spirit and tree demon in your domain to ash." Indeed, the Waterfall Cave was pitifully weak now, populated mostly by wild, untrained monkeys with no cultivation at all. A handful possessed minor attainments, barely reaching the level of mortal immortals, or less. Against even a single mid-tier demon king, the entire cave would be wiped out in minutes. So Sun Wukong had no choice but to begin recruiting. Dared spy on the great sage? You've signed your death warrant." He flicked his wrist, and lightning split the sky, striking a nearby tree. The ancient trunk exploded into splinters. A streak of black light shot from the wreckage, darting toward the horizon. "Trying to flee?" Sun Wukong sneered, and in the next breath he stood directly in its path. One kick sent the black light crashing to earth with a sickening thud. Thump! The black light coalesced into a figure, Wudu Daoren, lying sprawled in a crater he'd carved into the ground. His disguise, so flawless, so carefully maintained, had been pierced in an instant. "Wudu Daoren." Lady Warui recognized him immediately. The old neighbor who lived just beyond her grove. Wudu Daoren grimaced, forced a bow, and said, "Your Majesty's power is truly awe-inspiring, sir. I stand humbled. Might you be the legendary great sage equal to heaven?" Sun Wukong opened his mouth to confirm, then froze. The warning of Patriarch Sapudi echoed in his mind. He shook his head instead. I am Sun Yuan, sworn brother to the great sage Sun Wukong. My elder brother cannot return to Flower Fruit Mountain for now, so I've come to manage things in his stead. Watu Daoran's cultivation far exceeded Lady Huarui's. He had reached the true immortal realm. Even 1,000 years ago, in the western Oxheaven continent, such a being would have ruled as a regional overlord among demons.